For me, I'm gonna say for now, this is an overreaction.
Buried him in the turf with his chin wrapped around his nostrils. He called a timeout. Good wherewithal by Eli.
Great wherewithal.
Put this to music. I don't think he stepped out either. That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Welcome to the first episode of the Giant Overreaction. I am your host, Awthentik, one half of Awthentik and the Beard. Check us out every Tuesday, every Thursday on the best division in football. I need to see them biceps in the chat early, man. The Giants got a big victory. I hate to be that I told you so guy. I know a lot of content creators want to be that I told you so guy. I don't want to be that I told you so guy, but I did pick the Giants to win this game. Not in this close of a victory, but this was a fantastic second half by our New York Giants, man. 21-20, the Giants take on the Titans, and we get the victory for Brian Daboll's first win. The man is looking undefeated right now. I'm feeling real great as a Giants fan, man. I know y'all feeling good on this Victory Monday. A lot of people talking about, oh, let's move on to Carolina. You know, let's get ready for week 2 and all that. I'm going to bask in this victory for the whole entire week. I want all that smoke. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and the Beard, man. People was talking crazy nonsense on Twitter with me. I was trying to keep it reserved, trying to keep it chill, you know, and a lot of these Titans fans was coming for me when I said that I wasn't scared of Derrick Henry. And at the end of the day, the man only has about 80 yards. And y'all know the guy, man. Y'all know who is him as it is trending going around right now on Twitter, man. Saquon Barkley had an incredible game. Kudos to him, man. He put this team on his back along with that defense, and we had a pretty good game from our quarterback, man. Sometimes you got to just get it done. And when it came down to it, Daniel Jones got it done. I'm definitely looking forward to chop it up about this game some more here, man. I don't want to give y'all too many details because y'all know how we do on Giant Overreaction. I'm going to bring up some statements across the media world, some statements across the Twitter world, you know, in the YouTube comments sections, and we're going to see if these are actually overreactions. Now, for those of you that are new here, if you indeed agree that that statement that you see on the screen is an overreaction, I need you to put them O's in the chat. If you need a little bit more time to think on it, maybe you need to get the next week, maybe you need to get to the bye week, maybe you need to get to the second half of the season, I'm gonna need you to put that hand emoji up one time, or I'm gonna need you to put the P for pushing P. Shout out to everybody on Twitter for, you know, let me know about the pushing P kind of vibes and whatnot. And if you're gonna take the under and you don't think it's an overreaction, I need to see some U's in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. I see gang in the building. Let me get this chat pulled up because y'all know I'm gonna definitely say some shout outs to the fam. On a Victory Monday like this one, I see the gang is definitely in the building. Let me scroll back just a little bit one time, go all the way back to the top of this chat. My guy, Mr. Mini Guy in the building one time, showing some love, man. W. He usually gives me them yo-yo-yos. I'm going to give you 3 WWWs because it's kind of looking like the Giants could possibly get 3 W's in a row. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. I see my man Jamison Taylor's in the building one time, one of the early ones in the building. Edward Squires is in the building. Shout out to Word in the building one time, man. I see David in the building. He told me he was going to pull up one time. And he said, imagine not being 1-0. That's what we felt like for the past couple of years. I mean, I want to say it's been 5 years that the Giants have not got a week 1 victory. This is my first time being a YouTube content creator and actually seeing the Giants get a victory. So that is super amazing. My man Brian is in the building one time. Shout out to Brian, man. Always showing love to the channel one time. Sank Zappa in the building with the Stash Gang in the building. Y'all know what it is. My man The Beard is in the building one time. I see you in the chat, fam. Oh, this looks like a new person. I'm not too sure, but this is Danveer Singh. Shout out to you, fam, for pulling up in the building. Y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik. One half of Awthentik and the Beard, man. We trying to give y'all the highest quality content we could possibly give y'all, man. Max Webster's in the building. Shout out to Max Webster, man. He won that Tiki Barber card on our last show. Definitely pull up to them week shows, man, because the Beard has been talking to me about giving away a lot of different memorabilia. You can stay tuned to win a lot of stuff on his channel, man. And the Beard has been blessing me with a bunch of stuff too. Hold on, let me show y'all something actually real quick. Let me disconnect this. So shout out to the Beard, man. He just blessed me with this Eli Manning card. Let me see if I can get that focused. That should jump right about now. He just gave me this Eli Manning card just a couple of weeks ago. He was like, man, you're not going to believe the Eli Manning card I hit on. I was like, man, that's crazy. That's a great one. And then he hit me with, well, man, it's yours. So shout out to the beard. And if you don't know, he's a antique collector, and he's also a sports memorabilia collector. He has a channel called Over the Years. He also has another channel called Over the Years Sports. Make sure y'all check those out. I'm sure he's in the chat. He can drop some links for you as well. But let me shout out a couple more people before we get this one started, man. Let's bring that vibe back, too. That's a vibe on a Monday one time, man. I see the homie, who else is in the building here? Stephen Lilly is in the building one time, man. Shout out to Giants Nation one time, man. Caveman Sports Talk is in the building one time. James Jones is in the building one time. What's good, fam? How you living, man? Denzio in the building, man. We got squad in the building early. We got about 40 folks in the building. We're going to let this populate a little bit because we got some good topics to talk about. Shout out to my homie one time, the Hub is in the building, man. Y'all know what it is. I know most of y'all probably already subscribed to the Hub, but if you're not, go check out the Hub, man. I got to give out some more wrenches this year, too. We're going to find a way to do that. Y'all been on y'all good behavior. Y'all getting them wrenches one time. Y'all know what it is. Heartstorm Media is in the building. What's good, fam? I hope all is well with you, man. It's a big Giants victory. Who else we got? I'm looking for them familiars one time. Them day ones that's in the building one time. I see Caden Wade is in the building one time. Daniel White is in the building one time. Shout out to Daniel White, man. Jeff is in the building. What's going on, Jeff? I know you're real thrilled about this W yourself, man. Yes, sir. You know I'm in the building. You know what it is, fam. Who else we got in the building? Oh, man, the God, no Mets, no Nets, no Jets. Salute to you, fam. My local residents right there one time representing for the game, man. Y'all know I'm out here in Washington, D.C. doing these shows, man, representing the New York Giants heavy out here. Y'all know what it is. Marjorie's in the building. Salute to Marjorie in the building. That's another day one in the building one time. Rafael Colon is in the building, man. What's going on with you, fam? Hope all is well on your end. Stephen Lilly early with the £5 super chat, man. What's going on? He says all them Cowgirl fans need to speak up. In fact, they solo hand them a megaphone so us Giants fans can hear them. 56 GOAT. Y'all know what it is, man. LT vibes, the true LT in the building one time. Appreciate that. $5 super chat, Stephen Lilly. You know what it is, man. You were day one in the building, man. You've been supporting this channel for a good long time, and we definitely appreciate that one time. Who else is in the building here? We got Kai's in the building. Shout out to the homie Kai, man. He been repping us real heavy, showing up to all these live streams. Oh, and if you didn't see the video that dropped this morning, me and the Beard actually broke down the Commanders' victory too, man. That was a really impressive victory. I was like on the edge of my seat. It seems like I've been like that for a lot of the Commanders games, Washington football team last year. But for their games, man, because like they're just always down to the wire, it seems like. They seem to lose a lot of close games. But won this close game against the Jaguars, man. They're sitting at 1-0 with us as well. Shout out to my homie, the Hub, one time in the building too, dropping that super chat as well, man. He dropped me a $5 super chat, man. Appreciate that, fam. He says, I don't want to overreact, but I'm making a vid on possibly starting 4-0. Road just got easier with news from last night. That's facts, man, and I'm going to bring that up here on one of these overreactions here for sure, man. And David sent the super chat in too with the $2 super chat. Saquon was nominated for FedEx Ground Player of the Week. Man, he deserves that, man. Saquon told people on the Ryan Clark's podcast that, yeah, he don't give a F about what's going on. He about to go out here and show y'all what's up. He's blocking out the noise. Looked like that's exactly what he did in this game, man. The stat line was incredible. We definitely going to get into that. I definitely appreciate that super chat, man. So without further ado, man, let's get this started. I'm going to try to keep my eye on the chat. Y'all know I'm missing my half of my co-host, my homie, the Beer Man, who normally helps me out with producing the show, man. So I'm a one-man band up here. We're going to be trying to take care of the super chats, taking care of the graphics, taking care of the beats, taking care of the conversations. We're doing a whole lot of multitasking up here. I'm getting text messages. I'm taking care of the comments. And matter of fact, man, I want y'all to, a call to action here for everyone who's in the chat right now. When this stream is over or during the stream, hit the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all want from this channel. If y'all, if there's any upgrades y'all want or any topics y'all want us to hit or any kind of videos y'all want us to make, man, because we want to service the community in a major way. And, man, I think that the Giants got one of the best communities on YouTube, man. It's just like a lot of really, really good content creators, man. Shout out to everybody who's been taking their time to cook up new videos, man. I saw Entertainer was like live for like 20 hours, it seemed like, yesterday. Had his video come out. Bad Dog had his video come out. The Hub out here grinding with KB doing air streams. Pizzle was out here grinding, man. So salute to all the content creators. Can't forget Bobby Skinner, man, dropping all the stats, the videos, all that stuff. Their video was up in the morning. I got a chance to check out half of that video. It was a really good video to start. I got to go back and finish that out. I almost want to move these Giant overreactions to the evening so that I could get a little bit more overreaction content. You know, I'm a big fan of Colin Cowherd. I like watching his show and always like to hear what he has to say about, especially the quarterback situation. You know, he's been pretty down on Daniel Jones, and I always like to hear what he says after, you know, the Giants get a big win. And Daniel Jones had a pretty good game. So, like I said in the intro, man, over here at Giant Overreaction, what we do is we put statements on the screen. Sometimes it's going to be an audio clip as well. Today's show, we're going to start it with an audio clip to just get the conversation going. And if you think it's an overreaction, I want you to put an O in the chat. And be very active because I'm going to pull up y'all comments in the chat. We're going to talk about that a lot. We're going to try to kind of weigh the scale. I've been seeing people talking about that, Jeff, too. It's quarterback rating. I think people need to, or passer rating, actually, that people need to correct that on with the QBR. 115 passer rating is amazing. And I'm going to get into that, too, because there's a glaring difference between quarterback rating and QBR. And Daniel Jones was a good example in this game, so I kind of wanted to break down a couple things about that as well. But, yeah, so if you think it's an overreaction, O in the chat. If you don't think it's an overreaction, let me see the U in the chat for the under. And if you need some time to think on it, put the hand up, hand emoji, or you could put the P for the push. Means you need a little bit more time to think on it. And, you know, maybe next week we revisit that same exact question and see where people stand on that. Oh, shout out to the homie Diggy one time in the building, man. You know what it is. Another great content creator. I forgot to mention when I was talking about that. Haven't got a chance to check out his videos, man. I definitely appreciate that $20 super chat. He said won 100 on player prop bets yesterday, so I gotta bless the show. Hey, man, that's big love, bro. I definitely appreciate that, man. You know, we definitely working hard over here at Awthentik and the Beard. It's been some real sleepless nights. I got some good sleep last night, but I didn't get to bed early. I was definitely up late, super hype on the victory. It was one of those nights, right, where when the night was over, I got to bed probably about like 4 in the morning, maybe like 3:30 in the morning, chopping up the video for the Beard for the Commanders recap and whatnot. And when I got into the covers, it was one of those, you know, when the covers feel bomb dog, like you had a real great day and you tucked the covers over. No, it was one of them kind of sleep, you know, one of those kind of night's rest that I got. It was a really amazing night's rest. Kind of was abruptly woken up in the morning because we had some stuff with the video that we had to take care of with the Beard, man. So I figured I would just start the morning a little early. I just got up and got to it, knowing I had to plan for this show too. But, yeah, man, so let's get this one started. Diggy, I definitely appreciate that. Y'all make sure to go sub up to Diggy, man. He's got a great channel, man. It's the same name you see there that he's chatting from. I'm sure you can find him here on the interwebs, man, and definitely support his channel, man. He's doing a lot of stuff for the Giants community, and he live right around the block. Diggy, we got to get together and make some content here soon, man. And I hope you can make it to the game that's here, Washington, versus the Giants that's going to be here in Washington. We do a crazy tailgate for that game, so anybody who's here locally in Washington, D.C., definitely reach out, man. Our tailgates get pretty crazy, so, yeah, definitely pull up. So y'all know the theme now. I think we can get into a little bit of the show here. So I wanted to start the show with a clip because I got up early and got to the Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp show, Undisputed and whatnot. And they mentioned a brief little segment that I think was a good talking point to at least talk about. And he brings up about 4 points in this little segment I'm about to play. And I just kind of want to know y'all thoughts on it. And let me know if you think Skip Bayless is either overreacting or if you think Skip Bayless is maybe spot on and you don't think it's an overreaction, then you could put the U in the chat for the under. And if you think, you know, it's not enough time, maybe put that P in the chat for the push one time. All right, so let me give you this clip one time.
Here's what I saw yesterday. Let's start with Saquon, as you say. Okay, they ran wild yesterday. What did they end up with? Let me get my.
He had like a $164,
They had
right?
238 yards rushing. What did I tell you before the season started? Tennessee will not make the playoffs. That team is in decline, as you think Tom Brady's in decline. I don't trust them. They were in command. They had a late field goal that could have won it, and it was hooked wide left. And yet 238 yards rushing is spectacular by the new coach, Brian Daboll, New York Football Giants.
But what did he show you, Skip?
Okay,
That joker
he
went for it.
Okay, but what's the big deal? Who wouldn't go for it? Just go for two.
A lot of teams wouldn't go for it.
Okay, just go for it and let Saquon go for it, and Saquon got it.
Got it.
Okay, but Daniel Jones still sucks, and he sucked again yesterday.
Yeah.
He had a big interception yesterday. Do you really trust them to be better than Dallas? So I think even with Cooper Rush, we can go up there. I believe it's a night game, if I'm not mistaken, coming up here pretty shortly. I think we can go win that game.
All right, that was Skip Bayless from Undisputed this morning. And there's a couple of things to dissect here. You know, there's about 4 or 5 points here. I'm going to start with the Titans won't make the playoffs. I kind of agree with Skip Bayless on that one. I don't think that's an overreaction. Y'all let me know on that, just that first little bit right there.
Here's what I saw
So
yesterday.
for me,
Let's
I'm going to
start with
I'm gonna take the under on that. I do think it's a fairly good assessment of the Titans. I mean, I don't know if this was just another season where they weren't ready for the opener, because y'all know last season they faced the Arizona Cardinals early on as their week 1 test, and they got blown out. I want to say it was like 13 or 38-13 or something like that. But for me, I mean, the Titans have lost some pieces here. You know, they're dealing with one of the biggest pieces on their offense that they lost in A.J. Brown, who looked really good with the Eagles, especially in that second half, man. He looked really good. And we know they lost Harold Landry for the season, too, who he had 12 sacks last year on the season. So, you know, you're losing one of your best defensive pieces, one of your best offensive pieces. They brought in Robert Woods, who Robert Woods looked pretty decent, you know, out there. I thought they did okay with Robert Woods. He didn't have like a Allen Robinson type debut, if you know what I mean, like where he just was kind of just not out there in a way, not getting targets and things like that. What I saw from him looked pretty decent. They didn't over-target him or nothing crazy like that. But the Titans, I mean, I think that they're struggling just a little bit. You know, they got an offensive line with a new rookie right tackle. They got a new first-year starter playing left guard. You know, so there's a lot of different pieces. The Titans never really impressed me anyway. I'll keep it funky with you. I'm not saying they're a bad team or nothing like that, especially dating back to last season. But I'm sure everybody here thought when they were the number 1 seed in the AFC, especially when Derrick Henry went down, like that is very surprising. I don't even know how they pulled that off. I got to give some kudos to Deontay Foreman, who I'm a big fan of. Now he's over in Carolina as the third-string running back. But I think he's a solid backup running back, and he did a good job filling in for Derrick Henry. But at the end of the day, Ryan Tannehill didn't have a great year. It was his second worst year as far as interceptions, and it was his second worst year as far as touchdowns, but still managed to get them to the number 1 seed. I do see them taking a step back this year. I won't sit here and tell you that they're guaranteed not going to make the playoffs, but I think it's a good shot that they won't make the playoffs. I think they're going to be somewhere on the fringe, maybe be a wild card team or maybe a team that's like just on their way out. Shout out to Big Dash Knows one time in the building, man. Salute. I see you out here, man. You know what it is. Giants Nation in the building. So, for me, the Titans took a step back. I think Skip Bayless started it off on the right track when he said that. Now, when he said going for it is not a big deal, then why does the media make such a big deal of it when teams go for it and don't get it when the game is on the line? This reminds me of the perfect situation here. I could talk about the Giants game versus Washington, where Ron Rivera, it was 20-20, I believe, or 20-19, I believe. Score was very similar to this one. And Ron Rivera decided, hey, I'm going to go for 2. I think it was 20-19. And Ron Rivera says, hey, I'm going to go for 2. They go for 2. He doesn't get it. And the media is blowing up the next day. And all they're talking about is how much of a bonehead decision it was from Ron Rivera to go out there and go for 2. Now, when that drive was going on, as soon as we hit the red zone, I tweeted out. I said, if you score here, you got to go for it. And I'll tell you a couple reasons why. You had the situation with Daniel Jones on the bench where he had just thrown the interception. And after the interception, you see Brian Dable go over there. And at first, you know, he just looks like he's kind of conversing and he's, you know, giving them some advice. But then you start to see Brian Dable get a little bit hot. You start to see the hands moving up in the air. He even start, you know, pointing his hands. He started doing all this, you know, just showing the body mannerisms of a person who was frustrated, of a coach who was disappointed in his quarterback and trying to hold him accountable. Now, I love that. Now, this is another thing I loved about Brian Dable. In the post-game conference, he said, somebody asked him, I think it was Jordan Renan who asked him, so what was the, you know, the dispute happening on the sidelines, and, you know, just wanted to get some insight on that. And Brian Dable said, oh, nah, like, I wasn't yelling at Daniel Jones. I was yelling to somebody up in the booth on the headset. Now, shout out to the homie Antonio on Twitter from, I want to say it's the Breaking Giants podcast. I'm sorry if I botched the name of his podcast. He's very dedicated to creating content. I see him. He's very active on the Twitter world. But me and him, we were talking about it. And I had some pictures up early in the game when that first happened. And if you look at the pictures, there's no headset. Brian Dable's not wearing no headset. So now last year, everybody was like, Joe Judge, he's transparent. I'm talking beginning of the year. They're like, he's transparent. He's killing the podium. He says all the right things. Joe Judge was doing a lot of lying. I've played enough football to know that as a coach, you cannot be telling the media and the fans everything that the fans and the media want to know. You got to pull a little bit of Bill Belichick, lie a little bit, and hide some of the things that should stay within the locker room. So for me, that was a gold star for Brian Dable for giving that lie. And the reporter, as soon as he gave the answer, it just was crickets in the room, like straight up crickets, because they knew that like he wasn't going to give them no gas on that. That's just what it was. You could ask as many questions as you want. Even later on in the press conference, Jordan Renan asked some more information about Wan'Dale Robinson getting hurt, and why, they had to just take him out of the game after one catch, what happened, trying to get all these details and things like that. And Brian Dable was like, listen, you're not going to get nothing out of me. Kind of got defensive. I like that. That's my kind of vibe. I like those kind of coaches, man, because I want to be surprised on Sundays. I talked about, Brian Dable having some tricks up his sleeves. And this game, he definitely has some tricks up his sleeve. And in the post-game conference, he has some tricks up his sleeve. Now, as far as Skip Bayless saying Daniel Jones sucks, now look, for one, that word, it's a couple of words I don't like to use in my vocabulary. It's just not in my vernacular to use these kind of words. I don't use clown because unless you coming at me on some personal type vibes, I don't use clown and I don't use sucks. They're all NFL players. I can't be sitting here on my couch right here in the studio talking about this quarterback sucks. So for those of y'all who have paid attention to what we do over here on Authentic and the Beard, y'all know I'm very, 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 very critical of Daniel Jones. But never have I ever called Daniel Jones trash on this channel, and never have I ever said Daniel Jones sucks on this channel. I mean, that's just an egregious statement to say. Now, to critique Daniel Jones' game is one thing, but to say that he sucks, nah, we not going there. And then to finish off this clip, you're gonna sit here and say that you're picking Cooper Rush to beat the Giants? He even went on further on in this clip to say that Cooper Rush is serviceable in comparison to Dak Prescott and is more decisive. And I'm just listening to Skip Bayless like, bro, they paying you millions of dollars to come out here and just lie to fans, bro. Like, I don't know what kind of homer you are for your team to think that the backup quarterback in Cooper Rush, I mean, okay, I know we got Giants fans, myself included, who talk about our backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, who's one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league, where I think that if Daniel Jones does end up getting hurt, Tyrod Taylor could come into this game and it wouldn't be a drastic drop-off. I think Tyrod Taylor could do some things. But I'm not one of these Giants fans that woke up this morning and I'm calling for Tyrod Taylor after that game with Daniel Jones. We got to give Daniel Jones some time to get acclimated to this offense and really get his feet wet. He looked pretty good. He was efficient. That's the one thing. There were some mistakes out there, too. And I see my man Big Dash in the building one time says this, Skip is for entertainment only. And I think if you're a part of the media or you are a content creator, and this is solely my opinion, right? You should be a balance of both of those things. Nobody, me and Max, I think it was me and Max Webster. Was it me and Max Webster? I think it was me and Max Webster talking about this on Twitter. And we were talking about, like, the kind of style of broadcasters we like and stuff like that. And, yeah, it's a personality thing, 1,000%. We like the personalities that we like. I like to say the same thing with rap music. Like, I like the music, but I'm also invested in the character that's making the music. What do you stand for is a lot of times what I say about music. But for content creators and media, I think it's best that if you have a balance of entertainment and information. Just being entertainment, people going to look at you like that. They're going to look at you like a Skip Bayless. They're going to think they're not going to take you seriously. Same thing with a Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, he just got caught up the other day. They asked him who he thought was going to score the most points this week, and he picked Justin Herbert, but then he picked the Raiders to beat the Chargers later in the segment. So you can't just be entertainment and just be looking for shock value. At the same time, you got to give people some information, I feel like. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not telling anybody what to do or nothing like that. But, yeah, and then when people say that it's for clicks and stuff like that, I'm like, well, like, once I click something and it's clickbait, I'm going to click away from it. I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and just listen to a bunch of garbage information off a clickbait type of title or a clickbait topic or a clickbait opinion. So for me, man, Skip Bayless, bro, this is an overreaction. I'm almost starting to look at Undisputed as the whole show is overreaction, to be honest. And shout out to the homie Stephen Lilly one time in the building, man, the $2 super chat. We definitely appreciate that, brother. Bigger question is Galladay and Tony, not DJ. They're all question marks, man, to be honest, man. I mean, Galladay, wasn't targeted a lot. I got the box score up here, but it doesn't have targets because of that ESPN box score. They like to throw up a lot of ads and whatnot. But Kenny Galladay, 2 catches for 22 yards. I think he just needs more volume. And, I like what I saw from him. He got the quick slant route. He's doing the things that I know now that Kenny Galladay can do. And I think Brian Dable knows the kind of the style of plays that Kenny Galladay is going to like. So it is balanced. A lot of people are questioning, is something wrong with Tony? Injury-wise, what could it be? Because to limit a player like that, it is very interesting. And we dealt with this last year with Jason Garrett when Kadarius Toney was a rookie. Everybody was like, why are they not playing him? He had a rough camp. He had the cleat thing. He had a death in the family. Things were a little bit shaky. And then finally when he got on the field and we saw him in big games doing some great things against the Rams, against the Cowboys, he starts getting banged up and he was dealing with a multitude of injuries, which we don't want to see that. But at the same time, I don't want to see Kadarius Toney on the bench. I believe he wasn't even targeted in this game. He definitely had no catches. They used him in the running game a bit. He had the 2 carries for 23 yards. He looked good on those runs, and one of them was a pass option kind of reverse play. And I think he made the right decision. Brian Dable talked about it in the post-game conference, too. He said he loved what Tony did there to put the ball down and tuck it away and get a couple of yards, which I think that was the right move for sure. But, yeah, I mean, they're all, Stephen Lilly, they're all question marks. I don't want to – this is giant overreaction, but I don't want to, jump the gun and just think, like, maybe he's hurt or something is completely wrong with Kadarius Toney. Brian Dable was asked about it in the post-game conference, and he said that they have a bunch of different packages, and the packages that just so happen to work in this game – they happen to have Kadarius Toney on the sidelines. I think it's really interesting. It's definitely something that we got to keep our eye on for sure. This was a big game for the New York Giants, though, man. The Giants totaled 394 yards in yesterday's 21-20 win over the Titans. That's just amazing. We've been lacking on that offensive side of the ball. And to think that in the first half, the Giants offense really wasn't even moving the ball. So this was a really great, impressive performance in the second half. Reminds you of the Saints game, the way they turned it on in the second half. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, but the way they turned that on in the second half, definitely remind me of the Saints game for sure, but we're looking for consistency. We know that. Last year, the Giants would fall apart right before the half in every game. We need to see more consistency out of this team. That offense got to get clicking. They had a lot of opportunities early. The offensive line looked just completely pitiful for the first half of this game. A few things cleaning up in the second half. I like the way they run blocked, too. I thought they opened up some holes for Saquon Barkley, and that's the kind of stuff we need for Saquon. I talked about this in our preview on Thursday. Like, you cannot have Saquon Barkley getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. That is not the vibe. Saquon Barkley has to get up to the line of scrimmage without contact, and then he's going to make a lot of guys miss. And we saw a lot of tough running. We saw him, just agility from Saquon, a strong knee. We saw a player that was confident. When I saw times last year where Saquon Barkley would get near the sidelines and look for a way out and try to make his way to the sidelines. In this game, he wasn't doing that. He definitely wasn't looking to the sidelines. He was looking to finish runs, and looking to just put his shoulder pads low and lower his shoulders and get those extra yards that we're accustomed to seeing from Saquon Barkley, man. Shout out to the homie Scotty Booms in the building one time, man. I ain't seen the homie Scotty in a minute. What's poppin', fam? I hope all is well, man. Scott, I'm just going to pull up. I'm going to pull up to the crib on a Sunday. I'm going to just pop up on you, man. We long overdue, man. Shout out to the homie Scotty, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Shout out to the homie Lax one time in the building, too, man. Appreciate the $4.99 super chat one time. He says, Dable and Kafka need to continue to feed Saquon. That's facts. I definitely agree with that. Establish the run game to open things up for Galladay and Toney and Shep. Yeah, that's another thing that I was talking about too, man. It's like you can't expect to just pass the ball and it's just going to work. And in the first half, you could see a reluctancy to run the ball kind of. I mean, they were, a few plays here and there, but you saw a dedication to running the ball in the second half. And in return, it opened everything up. I think that was the major factor in why the offensive line looked a lot better in the second half is because Saquon got going. Now these linebackers got to keep their eyes on Saquon. Play action is going to work a little bit better. And we even saw, to me, the most impressive play, and I almost don't want to let the cat out the bag, but we here, so let's just do it, right? Daniel Jones, 3rd and 5. The blitz comes, and the offensive line picks that thing up perfectly. He hits Richie James on that little short slant. To me, it was the most impressive play of the game from Daniel Jones. I know he had the bomb and a few other plays, but the way that he stood in front of that pressure and he trusted that offensive line, that's another thing that I saw in this game was some trust. Even though he was getting sacked early, he trusted this offensive line, and we need that. Now, don't get me wrong. He was a bit shaky in the pocket in the first half. I think Daniel Jones can still use a lot of work on his lateral movement within the pocket. He's got to look at guys like Tom Brady who aren't fast and aren't that agile, but use small steps and little maneuvers to just be able to just do things in the pocket to avoid pressure. I feel like in the first half, there were times where he just stepped up and went right into the sack. Like, he literally was just like trying to climb the pocket and actually was putting himself in a little bit more danger. This is the most yards by the Giants since 2019. So we know Pat Shurmur, 2019 offense, it was looking pretty decent. It wasn't great. We didn't win a lot of games. But Daniel Jones did look better in that system, and that's the best we've ever seen him look. And, man, the Giants, they never had a winning record during that whole Dave Gettleman tenure. I mean, this is the first time we've been at over 500 in forever. And it feels great, man. I hope that they can just, streak together a couple of wins here because 2-0 2-0 is going to make a lot of doubters, including myself, completely start to change some of our opinions. So I'm really looking forward to this next game. Like, if we could go out here with a better game plan, improve on the things that we messed up on in this game, and get started early, the Giants could really be a team that could really surprise a lot of people. I think we saw that in this game. And the number one reason is because Saquon Barkley is back. Saquon Barkley has been balling out, man. Like, this reminded me of that 2018 type of Saquon Barkley. And I was just asking for 2019 Saquon. I was like, yo, just get back to being pretty good. When we take a look at my stat prediction that I had for Saquon Barkley for the season, the numbers that I had put up were pretty modest. You know, I tried to keep it like, I didn't want to go, you know, and just try to overshoot the statistics and be too crazy. But I did want to set the bar pretty high so that Saquon could be accountable for, you know, the kind of work that we're going to need him to do moving forward with the New York Giants. And just looking for this one. I might have pulled it down, but I had him at somewhere like close to 800 yards. I had him at 10 total touchdowns. I had him at about 68 receptions or something like that. So for me, I think now if Saquon, he already got 164 yards in this game, he's already a quarter of the way of what he did last year. Saquon only had like 590 last year, I believe it was. So he's on his way, man. If he can just like get some consistency going with this dude is going to be he's going to be back at the top of the league as far as running backs go. I'm looking forward to it, man. I know y'all are looking forward to it. Everybody is hype about this win. Like, yo, shout out to Max. He said Saquon almost got 25% of your season predictions in 1 week. Yeah, man, and that's what I'm talking about. Y'all know I brought up the comparison of what's my man, Jamar Chase to Kenny Galladay last year. Jamar Chase pretty much put up Kenny Galladay's whole entire season in 4 weeks of football. He put up 500 yards in 4 weeks of football. So this kind of the same thing with Saquon in comparison to me. He's putting up those numbers right now, already a quarter of the way to the stats that I had him for the season, man. So Saquon was a big part in this win. Just a great game overall, man. And then looking at these next couple games, now I don't want to overreact, to be honest, but looking at these next couple of games, man, Panthers week 2, that's a home game. I think it's 3 straight home games, actually. Week 3 is going to be against the Cowboys, and it looks like Dak Prescott's going to miss that game. He messed up his thumb in this game last night, Sunday night game against the Tampa Bay Bucks. I don't like wishing that guys get hurt, but that's going to yield well for us for sure. And then you got the Bears, pardon me, week 4. And they had an impressive win, man, against the 49ers. I know that the weather was extremely sloppy in that game. And, you know, they were down. I think they scored 19 straight points in that game, man, to get that victory, man. And Fields was doing some things. It was ugly, but they got a good win in that game, man. So I like what I'm seeing on that schedule for sure. But let's get off into this game, man. Let's talk about some of these statistics, man. Talk about some of these players real quick, and then we'll get into these overreactions. I got till about 3 o'clock. I got a Zoom meeting with one of these audio companies that I'm trying to actually get to sponsor the channel. And I like the product that they provide for streamers is something that I want to spread to the community for the content creators, just to get like fantastic quality audio, and just to be able to like mix music, sound effects, and all that stuff to make it very easy for content creators to do so. Because as of right now, I know a lot of content creators are juggling a lot of different pieces of software to try to get their mic content and video and all that stuff all in one hub. I think that would be amazing. So I'm gonna definitely put y'all on, but I want to have confidence in the company. So I'm having a Zoom meeting with that company today, and they'll remain anonymous until they meet my threshold and my quota, where then I can spread it to the community, man. But so let's go ahead and get this one started off. We'll start with the man of the game, man. Like I said on Twitter, they're saying he is him. I'm going to say he's back. We're going to talk about that a little bit later for sure, but y'all know what it is. My man, Saquon Barkley. All right, man, let's talk about Saquon Barkley. These numbers are incredible. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I didn't even expect for Saquon Barkley to put up these kind of numbers, to be honest, man. 100 yards, I'd have been extremely happy. I'd be extremely happy. But he comes out of this game with 164 rushing yards, 18 carries, 9.1 yards per carry. He had 30 receiving yards, 6 receptions, and 1 touchdown. Shout out to the homie Jeff one time. He said, vintage Saquon, and that's exactly right. It's vintage Saquon, man. Balled out. He had the big runs, man, the 68-yard run where my man was looking exactly like he did in 2018. Then he had another big run for 33 yards. The 2-point conversion, man, where it was that was the end of the game. Listen, if you don't have Saquon Barkley on that 2-point conversion, we're not winning the game. As soon as he gets the shuffle pass, He is completely stopped by 2 defenders. He recognizes it extremely quick. Most of the time when you have a shuffle pass like that, you want to cut it up and get as north and south as fast as possible. And he found a way to get horizontal. When I saw the penetration from the defense, I got extremely worried, man. And then he sidestepped him, made a move, vintage Saquon, and he gets into the end zone, man. And I know all Giants fans across the country were ecstatic. My girl was watching Bad Dog and Entertainer stream at the time upstairs, and I'm thinking like, yo, you don't want to see this ending? I'm downstairs in the studio watching the game, and I had it on a stream, so I was a little bit delayed. So right at the end of the game, I muted Entertainer and Bad Dog just so like I wouldn't get, I didn't want the spoiler alerts and whatnot. I wanted to actually see that field goal. And she comes downstairs, and I'm like, are you watching the game up there? I was like, if you know the score, if you know what happened, don't tell me. And she was like, oh, no, I didn't know. She pulled a Brian Dable on me, definitely was lying to me. She knew what was good. I watched the kick go wide left, and I was ecstatic to see my New York Giants win. I predicted a 26-17 win. Instead, we get a 21-20 win. I knew it was going to be a close game. Saquon Barkley is the sole reason why we won this game, man. His 164 yards rushing was the most in a season opener in Giants history, man. So that goes to show you, man, these numbers are going to live for a long time. Saquon Barkley put up, man, the game of a lifetime. A lot of people are going around saying that this might be his best game ever in comparison to his 189-yard game against Washington in 2019. I was at that game too, man. Saquon was just going crazy that game, man. But the resilience that he showed on the 2-point conversion, and then when he scored, how he ran to the sidelines, and it was a moment I know for all Giants fans, if you got to see this, when he ran to the sidelines, him and Shepard was extremely lit. He runs up to Brian Dable, chest bumps him. Saquon runs. It was an emotional moment where Saquon almost looked like he had tears in his eyes. I think that the 1 minute left on the clock is probably the only reason why, like, Saquon's not balling at that time. Brian Dable gets Sterling Shepard and Saquon Barkley, one arm on each of them, and brings them in for a hug, man. And I was just like, that's the moment that Giants fans are going to remember when his team turns this thing around. And it was just fantastic to see that, man, because, we're coming from a very, like, stern kind of program with Joe Judge, where I feel like with Brian Dable, it's more of there's a relationship there, man, with the players. You can see it. There's chemistry there, and I prefer those kind of coaches, man. Like, when I played ball, I played quarterback, and I had some coaches, man, that, like, they would give me the this is crazy. I remember this coach so well. This dude, this was my freshman year, and I played on JV, and this coach, his name was Coach Bosnick, just handed me the playbook and was like, just learn it. And that was it. We had no relationship throughout the whole season, and he was the head coach / offensive coordinator. And no disrespect to him, but, like, when it came down to games, this dude didn't know the personnel and where things needed to be and things like that. And, like, I'm telling him stuff. I'm correcting him, and we just had a terrible relationship because he almost looked at me like an employee. I think with Brian Dable, he looks at these players like they're his peers, which that's just going to create a culture in that locker room of unity for a team that needs it, man. Like, I think we had the smoke and mirrors last year with Joe Judge, and people thought we had, let's go back to 2 years ago when we were 6-10. People thought the locker room and the culture was changing because we desperately wanted it so bad. But in reality, it really wasn't changing. Like, we really didn't see much difference from Joe Judge, from Pat Shurmur. I felt like it was two guys who just didn't have a hold of the locker room, and it showed. I mean, in 2 years for both of them, they were both out of here. Shout out to my homie Kyle Pizzle one time in the building. I saw he pulled up, man. Another content creator that had some videos out early too, man. Some quick reactions. Salute to you, brother. But Saquon, man, game ball. I don't give away multiple game balls, man. I got to give the one game ball to Saquon Barkley. You don't win this game without him. You really just don't win this game without him. He was the back of this team. He was the MVP of this game. And I just think, like, without this guy, this is a different team. And I know that Giants fans don't feel as confident moving forward if Saquon Barkley's not on this roster. Statistics look amazing. So I want to fly through these stats a little bit more so we can get into these overreactions. And I really only wanted to highlight a couple players. I didn't want to get knee-deep in these statistics. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to get y'all opinions on some things I've been hearing around the internet and stuff like that. So let's talk about the next player. And I'll get to this super chat real quick first. Let me see. My chat's a little laggy. There we go. Shout out to the homie Kithenji Kinoti one time in the building, man. Good to see you, fam. You know what it is, Giants Nation. Kithenji been rocking with us now for a couple of years. Said, just like he said, keep that same energy. Stay on that side. It was dope watching him. Just like Dable years, or just like Odell years, having good football to watch is great. Yo, I couldn't have said that any better because I always talk about those Odell years, man. Like, even though we only won 5 games that rookie season with Saquon Barkley and we had Odell out there, it was still fun football. You got to see highlights, big plays, you know, and you were on the edge of your seat in a lot of games. And you saw, you know, a lot of close games that year as well. Lost a lot of close games, a lot of one-score games. But it was still a fun time, man. And, you know, the last 2 years, I can definitely chalk a lot of this up to Joe Judge and Jason Garrett's system. Just boring. Just straight up boring. You know, like, just not fun watching Giants football. I clocked out last year around week 10, week 12 or something like that. And then when you see, you know, our coaches doing quarterback sneaks, 2 of them back-to-back, within your own 10-yard line, you know, you start to really lose hope in your team, and you start to lose faith in the organization. And this was a leap in the right direction as far as having faith in the organization. You know, they're allowing Joe Shane and Brian Dable to just do what they do, and to get a win week 1, it's amazing for us, man. I think it can set the trajectory in a different direction for us to start this season. So I definitely agree with you on that one, Kathinji, man. Salute to you, man. I appreciate you pulling up in the building. You know what it is. See a lot of people saying above 500. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I'm trying to keep this chat moving like I told y'all before, man. You know, doing a lot of multitasking up here one time. You know, handling pretty much every aspect of the production. Shout out to my homie, The Beard, one time. Make sure y'all go check out that video we released this morning on the Commanders' win, man. Very, very, very impressive win. All right, now, I think we can put the button on my man Saquon Barkley one time. And let's move on to the next player I want to talk about here one time. And that is the homie. Y'all know him, one of my guys at times, Mr. Jones. All right, Daniel Jones, pretty decent game here, man. 188 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception on the day. It was a really bad interception. I know a lot of people was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt there. Brian Dable was chewing him out for a reason there. It was a really bad interception. I like that, Jeff. Go DJ. That is our DJ. Y'all know I'll be putting them Lil Wayne clips up during the year one time. But I like the stats, man. The 5 sacks is tough. Now, that offensive line definitely was not gelling early on in this game. And we saw Brian Dable make the second half adjustments to really put Daniel Jones in a position to win it. And I think even passing the ball, he put Daniel Jones in a position to win too. The interception, he lost a little bit of faith in him, and he went back to Saquon on that last drive. But I like how he had faith in Daniel Jones on that the fourth down conversion, the running play, 4th and 1, 2 minutes to go. You put the ball in one of your best players' hands, and Daniel Jones took care of business. Now, Daniel Jones completed 81% of his passes. He was pressured on 69% of his dropbacks. I mean, that's very, very difficult. 18 of 26 of his dropbacks he was pressured on. And the sack, 5 times. That's not a good look. Daniel Jones now has proven to me the assessment period for me is over. I'm not one of these guys that's saying Daniel Jones is a bum. None of that. But he is a quarterback that needs protection. He is a much better quarterback when he has time to throw the ball. And when I talk about time to throw the ball, I'm not talking about NFL time. He needs more time than your average NFL quarterback to throw the ball. Now, shout out to my homie Stan one time. Always hit me up on the Twitter inbox with some gems, some nuggets, some opinions, some information. He moved around the way. We got to link up, man. He's down in Townsend one time. We definitely got to link up before you leave, before you graduate from there and whatnot. But he was talking about a tweet that Bobby Skinner put up, the intended air yards, 6.3, which was 25th of all quarterbacks over the weekend. But the time to throw was 2.98, which was the 5th highest of the weekend. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, when it comes to time to throw, league average is somewhere around 2.6, 2.7. Seconds to throw the ball. And Daniel Jones was at 2.7 last year, along with guys like Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford. They were all around 2.7. To me, Daniel Jones, one of his major flaws is the way he processes the game. So it just puts a little bit more emphasis on your coaching. You got to find a way to get the kid some time. If you get the kid some time, he can make things happen. We saw it on the big play to Sterling Shepard. That was a vertical scheme that they ran, and he threw it across his body, across the field, man. It was pretty much the last read. He had a check down open on the right side in Saquon Barkley. He decided to take the shot, and I heard Bad Dog and Entertainer talking about that at that time. Like, who cares what's going on? Try to find a way to take a shot down the field, and Daniel Jones did just that. Showed up on that drive with Sterling Shepard, and he looked great. We're starting to feel the momentum kind of just turn in his favor in that second half. You get the interception. I know that's a negative for him, but it's like you got to fight through those things. I said this about Carson Wentz on the Commanders in the video me and the Beard did earlier. Carson Wentz, he threw 2 interceptions back to back. Twitter went ballistic, okay, myself included, because he was balling out before that. He had extreme zip on his throws. He was extremely accurate. He looked comfortable in the pocket. He was doing some things with his legs. 2 back-to-back interceptions, but the resiliency, man. He stood in there, and he had back-to-back touchdowns to get his team back in that game and ultimately win that game. Daniel Jones did the same thing. He didn't allow the mistakes to get in the way, man. He went out there and he made plays. That 4th down conversion is critical. The touchdown pass at the end of the game. It's just a great play by Daniel Jones to just keep his head up and try to keep making plays. And I like what Brian Daboll did. He was a coach that helped his quarterback. He's not a coach that hurt his quarterback. Joe Judge, Jason Garrett's system, they might have done something to put Daniel in a sketchy position, and then now you got fans that are going to be blaming Daniel Jones for this loss, because I guarantee you, had we have lost this game, a lot of fans would have been blaming Daniel Jones. But listen, man, 4 incompletions on the day. I really don't care about the air yards. 4 incompletions on the day, that's a day. That's a game. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick Daniel Jones on these stats. Do what you got to do to win the game. When you have decent coaching and a decent scheme behind you, it shows that even in an ugly game, you can come away with great statistics like that. The passing yards are not great. I know he had a big chunk of the yards on the play to Sterling Shepard. The passing yards are not that great. But listen, moving into week 2, to have 2 touchdowns and 1 interception under your belt, that's all I'm asking for. At least be a 2-to-1 quarterback. And maybe if you can not turn the ball over in some of these games, you'll be a 3-to-1 quarterback at the end of the day. So I'm looking forward for Daniel Jones, man. Like, I just see like a window for him, In this game, I will say this. He did have a couple windows earlier in the game, down by 7, to take care of business. And it just seemed like if it wasn't on him, it was on the Richie James drop on the 3rd down where Daniel Jones is moving on that drive. Or when it was on him, like the 3rd down play, I want to say it was about 3rd and 8, where he tried to maneuver to the right of the pocket, and then he gets shoestring tackled and he gets tackled down. The great quarterbacks are not going to get tackled in that situation. So for me, yeah, there's some things that you got to clean up for sure with Daniel Jones. But I think he played a good game. Overall, this is a good game. If he could do this throughout the year, this is okay for me. We can't ignore the fumble, but the fumble is really not on Daniel Jones. It's not really his fault on the fumble. I mean, you can't expect him to see that pressure coming like that. Blind side, I don't know who got blown up on that play. I saw it was a stunt on the left side. It was to the inside of Andrew Thomas, but it didn't look like it was quite on Andrew Thomas. I forget who was playing left guard at that point in the game. Joshua Ezedu did not have a fantastic game, but he did have a great block on the big Saquon Barkley run. So things to improve across that line for sure. But all in all, Daniel Jones, I think you played a decent game, man. So kudos to Daniel Jones. Big kudos to Saquon Barkley. Those are really only the two statistics that I really wanted to harp on, or players, in their stats I really wanted to harp on. But I do want to talk a little bit about the box score and just go over a couple. I think Matt Breida was a really good addition. He never really lost yards on the day. Matt Breida averaged 4.8 yards per carry. That's really good for a guy like that. People were skeptical if he was hurt, leaving training camp and entering preseason and all that, because he really wasn't playing that much. But he balled out. I think he played a great 1-2 punch with Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones did have 25 yards on the ground, too. I want to see him sliding a little bit better, sliding a little bit more. Just still not great at getting himself out of danger. You saw a couple times getting a little bit crunched up, and I know Giants fans are worried about him. They're not like the biggest hits that he's taken, but they're hits where you're just like, ooh, and you're like, is he going to get up? You don't want to get folded up like that, twist the ankle, hurt a hamstring like he did the 1 year, or, you got to look out for those concussions as well. Like what I saw out of the runs from Kadarius Toney, but we know he was pretty much invisible. He didn't do much in this game. Richie James, man, was a major contributor in the passing game. 5 receptions for 59 yards. Sterling Shepard had the big play. Only 2 catches, but, man, the big play with the big touchdown, that'll make up for all of that. And then Kenny Galladay with the 2 catches for 22 yards. Unfortunate that Wan'Dale Robinson had to go out the game, man. First catch, gets tackled, and, he's injured. He said that the knee tweaked or something. He didn't feel comfortable on it. I hope that's, not a long-term injury. I hope it's nothing serious. We're probably going to find out today or tomorrow. But, wishing for the best for Wan'Dale Robinson, because I think he's a kid who can prove that he was drafted in the right position. Smaller wide receiver, and I know a lot of people were worried about that because of the size, very short. But, just praying that he can get back to full strength 100%. And then Chris Myrick with the touchdown, that was his only catch of the day, man. But I talked about him. He could be a very little sneaky guy out of the backfield. People think he's just going to be blocking. He's an H-back normally / tight end. And snuck his way into a touchdown in this game, man. I'd like to see that a lot more, man. Hopefully Myrick and when the other homie gets back, Bellinger, from injury, hopefully they can both get those kind of sneaky touchdowns, and our tight end room can look a lot better because we know for a few years now we've been struggling in the tight end room. And then defensively, Darnay Holmes led us in tackles, but Darnay Holmes is very aggressive. And I think he did some good things, but there was a lot of bad things, man. There was a lot of soft coverage on that last drive, where Tannehill drove him down to put them in field goal range and whatnot. But Darnay Holmes has some, he has some things to work on. I think this is why we haven't seen him on the field a lot. He does a lot of things good, but he does a lot of things bad. Jihad Ward had a pretty decent game too, 5 tackles. Tay Crowder, man, got to talk about the big hit on Derrick Henry. I told y'all, man, I'm not afraid of Derrick Henry. And people was talking about that's because you're not out there tackling him. Well, look, man, I'm not an NFL player, so the NFL players that are out there, of course they're not. Anybody that's played football ever knows you can't be scared. That's the number one thing. You got to just go out there and just let it all go, man. And Tay Crowder did that. He's not tackling Derrick Henry being like, oh, man, he's going to run me over. He's like, I'm about to run him over. And that's exactly what he did, man. Smacked him to the ground. Just smacked him to the ground, man. Pow right in the kisser. Shout out to Peter Griffin from Family Guy. It was that kind of vibe. He just smacked him to the ground. And I kept a lot of receipts on Twitter, man, and I went back. Last night I was up late. I was just starting new conversations with people that was talking a lot of BS to me during the week, man. Just like, yeah, so where's that energy at now? People was even tweeting me during the game, you still not scared of Derrick Henry? And I was like, what, did I miss something? Because, Derrick Henry just had a average game. I think he had over 20 carries, and he only had about 80 yards. So, I mean, that's a really average game. Adoree Jackson, I like what I saw from him, especially in the tackling game. I saw him step up and make a big tackle on Derrick Henry in that game. Interior-wise, I think we were a little quiet, but I think Leonard Williams did what he had to do. They did a good job stopping the run, man. Great team effort stopping the run on defense. Shout out to Wink Martindale. Did a good job. And Wink didn't blitz that much, man. Bobby posted this one, too, earlier, talking about Wink Martindale and the blitzes. 7 of the 11 blitzes on the day came on the final drive, including the only cover 0 blitz. Threw a lot of that Tennessee. He threw a lot at Tennessee, Bobby said, but not as blitz happy as his reputation. So we thought that he was going to come out here and just straight up blitz and go crazy, and that's not what he did, man. They played just sound defense throughout the day and relied on their guys to make plays, and I think the first half was very telling. Tennessee let us hang around in this game. And, I don't think it wasn't very necessary for us to blitz that much, to be honest. But with Tennessee letting us hang around like that, I think Wink Martindale called a really good game. And then our edge rushers got really tired late in the game, and he started sending some blitzes with Xavier McKinney, like back to back to back. I feel like he sent like 3 blitzes at Ryan Tannehill. And Ryan Tannehill made just an incredible throw there at the end. Xavier McKinney's just right there about to hit him. Timing was like literally perfect. You had to let that ball go right there. And Ryan Tannehill lets that ball go, and it's a dime. It's literally a dime. So, which takes me now to my first overreaction of the day that I want to talk about now. And let me go to this one right here real quick. Now, I'm gonna start with one that I think I might be a little bit more in agreement, but y'all tell me. Let me get this chat up one time so I can see what y'all talking when I get this one. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, let me go over this real quickly. If you think the thing that you see on the screen is an overreaction, drop an O in the chat. If you don't think it's an overreaction, put a U in the chat. It means you're taking the under. And if you need to take the push, you think you're kind of in the middle on it, then go ahead and put that P in the chat or the hand emoji. So this first one I want to get to real quick is about Ryan Tannehill and Daniel Jones. I saw this on a YouTube comment. Y'all let me know what y'all thinking about this one. Ryan Tannehill outplayed Daniel Jones and made enough plays to win the game. Do you think that this is an overreaction, or do you agree with this statement and you don't think it's an overreaction? Let me see that U in the chat. If you think it is an overreaction, you think Daniel Jones played better than Ryan Tannehill, let me see some O's in the chat one time. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of time to populate y'all answers, and we'll play some sounds from Awthentik. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation is in the building. We got 100 in the building right now, man. We setting records over here at Awthentik in the Beard. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of O's. I see a couple of pushes. I see a push from the homie Kareem Yee one time in the building. Shout out to Oscar Unrated in the building, man. Always tuning in. Appreciate you pulling up. He's got the under on this one. The Beard says can he go with the push. The Hub says it's an overreaction. Let me get this ready over here on my side. Okay. Who else we got up in here? Max Webster says it's an overreaction. If he made enough plays to win, they would have won. It's a good point there. He also says they were both about even, though, at the same time there, so he's a little split. The split decision, the pun and irony of the split decision, saying he's taking the under on this one. Thought he was going to take the push on that one time. Josh is taking the O for this is an overreaction. Stephen Lilly took the overreaction because he says who won the game. And no Mets, no Nets, no Jets taking the push on this one. So this one split the room a little bit. I'll keep it funky with y'all. This one definitely split the room. For me, I think Ryan Tannehill outplayed Daniel Jones. I'll keep it real here. I don't need to push. I don't think this is an overreaction. I'm going to take the under on this because Ryan Tannehill, for one, 20 of 33, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers, no fumbles, none of that, right? To me, that's a cleaner game, and his running game was not clicking. So he didn't have the luxury of having a running back getting big yards. Derrick Henry, 21 carries on the day, a 3.9 average. That's really low for Derrick Henry. 82 yards on the 21 carries. Not that great, and he really didn't have no wide receivers really doing much except Kyle Phillips, who was definitely a problem out of the slot. Kyle Phillips had 6 catches for 66 yards. He was averaging 11. And Dontrell Hilliard was killing us on some of those short routes. He was averaging 20.3 per reception. He had 3 catches for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. The rookie Treylon Burks had 3 catches for 55. He looked pretty good. He looks like he's going to be a guy. I saw a little bit of Julio Jones kind of vibes from Treylon Burks, man. He was doing some things out there. Big body kind of wide receiver over there. Outside of that, you really didn't get too much from the Tennessee Titans. So I do think that Ryan Tannehill outplayed Daniel Jones just a little bit. Not by a lot, but I do think Daniel Jones did enough to win the game. Now, a 47-yard field goal to win the game, most NFL kickers are going to make that kick. It was something, man, with the football guys that I just felt like they owed us one, man. I don't know if y'all remember that season when we were just losing like so many close games to the field goal. We had Graham Gano beat us when he was a Carolina Panther. And then we had the last-second field goal against the Eagles. And I think we had one more last-second one. It might have been against the Cowboys that year. We're just losing a bunch of games like that, the game-winning field goals. And to get a game-winning field goal actually go shank left and we get the victory was really amazing for me, man. So I was super stoked about that, man. Very excited about getting the win. Daniel Jones did enough to win, but I'd say Ryan Tannehill outplayed him, but not by much. Nothing crazy where you could, be egregious about it and be like, yeah, man, he outplayed him and it was by a lot. It wasn't by a lot. So I do see why this one kind of split the room. I'd say Giants Nation took this as an overreaction from the chat here. I saw a lot more O's in this one than I saw U's. But I'm going to take the U on this one. I think he got outplayed a little bit, especially the first half. First half was awful, just across the board, the whole team. Saquon Barkley for a second there was the only thing just keeping us alive. And Oscar Rader says he thought it was 2015. I do believe it was 2015. Was that? No, it was 2018. You're right. It was 2018. Yeah, it was definitely 2018 because I remember Saquon being frustrated at a lot of those games. Like, man, we just got to keep trying. But they kept losing a lot of close games. So for me, yeah, I'm going to go that Ryan Tannehill, he outplayed him. So let's keep this moving, man, and let's go to the next one here. This one is from Ryan Clark on the Get Up this morning. And he said, Saquon Barkley ran more Derrick Henry like than Derrick Henry did. Let me know what y'all thinking about this one time. Do you think this was an overreaction from Ryan Clark from ESPN that Saquon Barkley ran more like Derrick Henry than Derrick Henry actually did? Saquon was running physical. He was doing some stuff outside, but he was also doing some things between the tackles too, man, running tough, man. Some of those little 3-yard runs. You didn't see a lot of negative runs from Saquon. I think there was only 1 or 2 negative runs on the day, man. So definitely was showing his physicality in the run game. I like what I saw from Saquon Barkley. I do think that Derrick Henry stayed committed, man. He was trying. The holes just weren't opening up. He did have a couple of big runs, but y'all let me know what y'all thinking in the chat on this one. Are you taking the under? Do you agree with this? Are you taking the under, or do you think this is an overreaction from Ryan Clark from ESPN, who I really like, man? He had that great interview with Saquon Barkley on his own podcast, and a lot of those clips went viral. I definitely recommend checking that out. Let's see what the chat is talking about one time about this one, though. Shout out to Lax044 one time in the building, man. He's taking the under. We got a couple unders in a row, man. Oscar unrated, under. James, under. The Big Blue Corner. Shout out to the Big Blue Corner one time, man. That looks like a podcast, man. Drop your link in the description or in the chat, man. Looks like you got a little podcast there. I'm digging that thumbnail right there. That's looking fire. He's taking the under one time. Josh Latore is taking the under as well. Mac the Giants fan in the building one time, man. Y'all know what it is. Go sub up to Mac the Giants fan. Definitely putting out that content, man. Fire content. I always dig what they doing over there, man. Just very raw takes. I definitely Dig Day channel one time. Stephen Lilly says he's taking the push because that wrong 26 ran like 26, not anyone else. That's what's up. Who else we got here? Jay Ramos says he's taking the under. That boy was running violently. He's active on social media. He heard all the haters for sure. Yeah, a lot of people be saying, players need to ignore social media and all that. And I mean, yeah, you can have your opinion on that and whatnot, but hey, they looking. Trust me, they looking. They looking at what people are saying on social media. They want to know the general consensus of what their fan base thinks about them. Who else we got over here? Steven says no reaction, just facts. I feel you. What else we got? Jeff Maldo in the building. Shout out, Jeff, man. What's going on, brother? I hope all is well with you, fam. Big El Gigante in the building one time, man. How you living, El Gigante? Oh, new profile pic this year. I'm digging that, fam. Good to see you in the building one time. Jay says Saquon ran like Saquon, period. I like that, dog. I like that. That's facts. Saquon was looking like his original form, man. Looking like a generational talent, if you ask me, on Sunday. Mike K says it's an overreaction. He ran like Saquon. No need for a comparison. I like that. All right, so for me, I'm gonna say that this is not an overreaction. I'm taking the under on this one as well, too. Saquon Barkley did run more like Derrick Henry than Derrick Henry did. I mean, Derrick Henry, when we saw him get completely just ran over by Tay Crowder, Saquon wouldn't get ran over like that, and Derrick Henry is not supposed to be getting ran over like that. That's not the vibes. Saquon was lowering his shoulder, so I would say he was running more like Saquon, obviously, as well, but he was also running more Derrick Henry-like than Derrick Henry was. Seems the general consensus here is the under on this one, and I got to agree with the chat on this one. Yeah, I know, right? I see the sarcasm, Jeff. I'm just reading your statement there one time. Yeah, because people definitely thinking Saquon looking washed and whatnot. That's ridiculous. And he's on a mission, man. Revenge tour for Saquon Barkley this year. First week looks really good. Oscar says he thinks that Derrick Henry is still a little injured. I mean, yeah, that's back-to-back games right now with 20 carries or more, where he didn't eclipse 100 yards. In the playoff game, he had 60 on 20 carries. And here against the Giants, he had just over 80 on the 21 carries. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Shout out to Jay one time in the building. Yeah, that man definitely rocked your boy Derrick Henry, man. I saw a lot of people calling him Queen Henry. I wouldn't go that far. You see, I can't, man. My mother, man, rest her soul. She was a great person. She raised a great son with a lot of moral ethic, right? So, like, I just can't go crazy and call somebody Queen Henry. And also, you can't use you can't use like a remark that's about females to degrade somebody. I always told people, stop saying that cowgirls thing. Some of these women stronger than some of y'all dudes, man. So y'all know what it is, man. All right, let's get to this next one, though. Some of these they're going to get a little more egregious as we go along. I wanted to just warm y'all up. Y'all know what it is. First week back on the Giant Overreaction, man. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're digging the vibes over here on this channel, man. We pretty much podcast damn near every day of the week. We got Mondays, we do the Giant Overreaction. We do Tuesdays, the best division in football, where we recap the games from Sunday with my buddy The Beard. Those shows are always are more lengthier podcasts, sometimes go 2 to 3 hours. And we really dissect the numbers, bring the nuggets to the table, a lot of stats and all that. Thursdays, we do previews for the game. We also preview the Thursday night game within that segment. Sundays, we're doing the parlay, which is all fantasy vibes. We literally just hang out session, bring up some top players. The Sunday vibe on a parlay was amazing this past week. And I picked that Pittsburgh upset over the Cincinnati Bengals. I called that one. I knew that was just a alley-oop for some money for somebody. And my fantasy team got the victory. So shout out to everybody who got a victory with their fantasy teams week 1 as well. Make sure to pull up to the parlay. So the only days we really not podcasting are Saturdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's it. So other than that, we're very active on this channel. And this year we're doing a lot more pre-recorded content. You got a first glimpse of that with the statistic videos we just posted. Definitely go check those out. And we just posted an instant reaction to the Commanders win. And I was going to do one for the Giants, but I was like, let me just save those vibes for Overreaction Mondays, man. We lit up in here. Y'all know what it is. I know Giants Nation is, even if you at work today, you could be putting in overtime. We feeling good today, man. We going to talk our talk. Y'all know what it is. Big dog vibes, man, from the Giants on Sunday, especially from Saquon Barkley, man. And that running, the run blocking, man, was just opening up great holes for Saquon Barkley. I was really happy to see that. I think that's the one department that this offensive line is going to upgrade in. The pass blocking might not be that great this year, but the way that they're run blocking, I think it'll open up some things in the pass. They'll be able to run play action, be able to do some things with Daniel Jones, get him out in space, some boots, things like that. And I think it'll yield well for the passing game. I'm looking for a way higher ranking in the passing game this year. You know, offensively, we've been ranking at the bottom of the league for so many years now. We got to change that this year. And this game was a great step in the right direction. So let's go to this next overreaction. Let me make sure I got this up here. Scroll back down here, make sure I didn't miss nothing. Yeah, them biceps is in the chat. Y'all know what it is. Put them biceps in the chat. For all y'all that's new here, me and the Beard Man, that's my brother from a different mother. Maybe the same mother, because Ma Dukes is definitely my mom. She's definitely held me down big time in this life. And we take the moniker from Remember the Titans with the left side, strong side vibes. Tim is Caucasian, but he likes to say he's peach because he got a lot of soul. And I'm Haitian, so it's like, you know, left side, strong side vibes, kind of breaking those barriers and whatnot, kind of like Remember the Titans, man. So just having a lot of fun with that, kind of them puns over there with that. But yeah, y'all know what it is, man. Put them biceps in the chat. Giants Nation is in the building. That's what it is. All right, man. So we got 3 more to go, maybe 2 more. I might ditch one of these, to be honest, man. I think one of these is a guaranteed overreaction, to be honest, and I might just ditch it. But tell me what y'all think about this one here. The Giants are the class of the NFC East. We'll be seeing them in the playoffs. Now, this year, I wanted to make it a point to not to put people's handles from Twitter. I feel like that's a little bit you know, you kind of invading people's bubble and whatnot when you tag them, and in case their take is something that people start, you know, ridiculing or, you know, making fun of or something like that. So I tried to make a lot of these takes from Twitter anonymous. I'm going to do that a lot more this year. I don't want to be pulling people's cards like that. But let me know what y'all think about this one. O's in the chat if you think this is no reaction. U's in the chat if you agree with this and you think the New York Giants are the class of the NFC East. Give y'all a little bit of time to think on that one while I get a couple squigs of this coffee here one time. All right, so that should have gave y'all enough time, man. And for those of y'all that don't know, man, all the beats on this channel are produced by your boy right here, Awthentik. I'm an engineer, audio engineer, mix records for a living by day, make beats, artist. I do a lot of stuff when it comes to this hip-hop vibe. I shoot videos, man. This beat, my shorty giving the dad vibes. That's what's up. Just cooked this one up actually like about 2 weeks ago, man. This I call this one the Go Stupid Anthem, and that's exactly what your boy Saquon Barkley did in that game yesterday. That man went stupid one time, man. So with this one here, though, on the screen, man, a lot of people took the overreaction, and I agree with that. I do think that this is an overreaction. You can't take one game and say we're the class of the NFC East, especially when we snuck out of this game with a missed field goal. I mean, that's really how we got the dub. But let's not forget, man, and I tweeted out something really funny about this, but the Giants missed the extra point early on in this game, right? If we had that extra point, we wouldn't even have had to go for 2 at the end of that game. We could have just kicked it and then, wow, game over, right? But, you know, I think the Giants, you know, our special teams are not used to us scoring a lot of touchdowns, especially dating back to last season. So they weren't ready for that one, man. Couldn't get the snap together, couldn't get the hold together, and then, you know, we botched the extra point there, man. And that was unfortunate. I kind of knew it was going to come back to haunt us. But, yeah, I do think this is an overreaction. There was a comment here that I wanted to highlight here one time, and I'm having trouble finding it. I saw it on the YouTube one. But somebody in the chat said that they want to take the push because they want to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. And I feel you on that. I'm with you on this. I want to take the push. There was nothing extremely impressive to me about the NFC East this past weekend. The Washington Commanders looked pretty good. I thought that Carson Wentz had a good game. You know, like for a first game out there, a lot of pressure on you. He played a pretty good game. Jalen Hurts, we're still having some problems with the passing, it looks like. But A.J. Brown was a major weapon upgrade. They're going to be able to kill people on those slants this year with Philly, man. You know, having the RPO options and having the read option, and then also being able to do RPOs and read options where you can just pull the ball and then throw it to a guy like A.J. Brown on the slant who you know is going to get some yak, that's going to yield very well for Jalen Hurts this year. So right now, if I had to take a guess, I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are at the top of the NFC. They're, the class of the NFC. And shout out to Edward Squires. That was him who said that. And, the Giants are somewhere in the middle of the road or, middle of the pack and maybe towards the bottom. We don't know yet. It's just one game. I don't think it changes my expectations too crazy getting this win against the Titans. And like I said, I did pick us to beat the Titans. I just had a feeling the Titans were going to come out a little bit cold, just not really ready to go, not clicking on all cylinders. And we know Derrick Henry coming off the injury. But, playoffs, that's playoffs. I don't know about the playoffs quite yet. We'll see. And being the class of the NFC is a little bit sketchy too, but I do agree with Edward Squires. We got to wait to see, man, because look, this schedule that's coming up for the Giants here, man, this yields really well. I think the way that we looked against the Titans, we can go out there and beat a team like the Carolina Panthers. And I did feel for Baker a little bit in that game, man, because played his heart out there towards the end, but he struggled. He had 2 fumbles in that game, I believe. And towards the end, he did get them back in the game. They took the lead, but then they end up losing on a game-winning field goal. That's really tough. But I don't think the Panthers are nothing scary. Just like I'm not scared of Derrick Henry, I'm not scared of CMC, to be honest. They're great backs. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just saying I'm not scared of them. We can find ways to scheme against them and beat them. I've got confidence in Wink Martindale. And then you got the Cowboys on or at home, and Dak Prescott's going to be out for that game. That gives us a great chance to win that game, and then you got the Bears. Dare I say the Giants could maybe go 4-0? This is the Giant overreaction. I can overreact a little bit over here, So I think the Giants could possibly go 4-0 here. You never know. The schedule gives us an alley-oop, and you got to take advantage of these things. When you see these openings to be able to go out here and try to put yourself in the win column, 2, 3, 4 wins, you got to go out there and do it, man. And the NFC East right now is giving us that opportunity for sure. So for me, I'm going to say that this is an overreaction, but I'm going with the push right now. If for today, somebody could say it's an overreaction, but I got to agree with Edward Squires on this one. And I'm going to say that, yeah, I'm taking the push on this for sure. So let's take this to the next one real quick one time. Keep this show flowing. Y'all know sometimes these giant overreaction shows can get to be like 3 hours, man. You look up and we've gone over 4 or 5 reactions, spent about 20, 30 minutes on each one and whatnot. And, yeah, the show can be about a good 3 hours, but we're going to try to keep things nice and tight today. I appreciate everybody from Giants Nation pulling up today in the building, man. Y'all know what it is. We still right there, right around 100 in the building, man, and that's lit. Make sure to hit that like button, man, to get this video out into the YouTube atmosphere and, to be something that could go against these algorithms, man, because over here at Awthentik and the Beer, man, I just try to be true to what me and the Beer do and try to just keep it real as possible. I'm not trying to, do things that other people do in the Giants content creator community or any community when it comes to creating content for that matter. But I want to bring my own type of value to the community. There's people out there that do fantastic shows, man. Like I said earlier, I love what they're doing with Talking Giants over there. Those guys were at training camp all year, giving us day-by-day content. They did a hell of a job with that. I talked to Bobby about that on Entertainer Stream the other night, and he said that was one of his funnest parts of the season is when he's doing the training camp stuff because it's like there's no pressure, there's no numbers, it's really easy, and all you got to do is just really report an opinion. And shout out to guys like Kyle Pizzle who bring that real fan vibe, to rile you up, man, and get you hype and get you amped for a game. Or, when you're in the dumps after a loss, is a good kind of content to really lift your spirits. And so many countless content creators out there, man. Mac, the Giants fan, Adam Costas, NY Jeff out here in the building one time doing stuff. I want to see Ron Effect get back in this community, man. I know he released a video recently talking about that certain things of the community kind of pushed him away. And I feel him, man. There is a lot of toxicity in this community as well. A lot of competition between content creators. But I try to keep that stuff to the side because I'm really only in competition with myself. And I also think that I'm in a lane that nobody could really touch me, to be honest. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or nothing like that, but I'm just keeping it funky with you. I try to stay in my lane and give my value. And everybody else should kind of do the same. Bring what you do best to the table and keep raising that bar. I always say that at the end of every podcast, keep raising that bar. If you have a channel and it's been 4 years of just the same kind of rhetoric and the same kind of vibes and you're not upgrading, I think it's time to take a look in the mirror and try to raise that bar, and try to make things a little bit better. I'm always trying to find ways to improve. You can ask the Beard that. And I'd say since our tenure here on YouTube, our first year being Daniel Jones' rookie year, 2019, we've made some incredible strides, man, and I think it shows with the community that's supporting what we do now. So salute to y'all, because without y'all, none of this matters. I'd be creating content that might as well just stay on my hard drive, and I could just do lives for myself up here in the building. But without y'all, this is not possible, man. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is. And when we get a W, it just feels great, man. W's just really fix everything, man. So I'm looking forward to more dubs, man. This is big dog time, as I like to call it right now, man. Shout out to my homie George on Instagram, who's always doing the big dog videos, because you got to have that big dog energy, man. That's really what it's about, dog. Like, you got to just go ham. You got to be fearless, and you can't be scared of nothing. So shout out to this team for doing that in this game, man. Down big in this game, and I knew it. I kept telling my boy, my homie, who's actually the reason why I'm a Giants fan. I know a lot of people wonder that, like, yo, how you like live in the DMV, stay in DC, and like you a Giants fan? And it's because my homie Patrick, man, my childhood best friend, and we still friends till this day. We still play Apex like on a daily, and we still chop it up and still go party. Anybody that know me personally around the way, they know that, like, I still stomp with all my day ones, all my sandbox homies. The Beard, we go back 30 years. My homie Pat, we go back 30 years. And his father was from New York, and he was a Giants fan. They had a lot of family out there. And when we were kids, they influenced me to be a Giants fan. If you look, if you go scouring the internet, you might be able to find this old picture of me when I was like 6 years old. My mom had got me this jean jacket, and it was a Redskins jean jacket, and it was super fresh, and I wore it like just a few times. And then somebody called me out on it, like on the Giants vibes. And I was like, man, what am I doing? You know, as a kid, I really didn't know. But there is a picture lingering out there with Awthentik in a Redskins jean jacket, just because I thought it was fresh back in the day and I was living in the area. But I'm New York Giants till the casket dips, man. That's just what it is. But I do also like to see the Washington football team, now the Washington Commanders, win games, because that helps my brother, the Beard. As long as they not playing against the New York Giants, I really don't care. It's cool to see them thrive, and I live in D.C., so the area, the spirits are a lot better around here when the Washington Commanders win games, and they put up an impressive victory. So I'm hoping that a lot more people can come and support us from that community, because we're very New York Giants dominant on Awthentik and the Beard. And I know it gets a little boring when we talk about the Commanders and stuff for the Giants fan, but at least you get a little bit of perspective on what it's like to be a Giants fan here in Washington, D.C. Now, let's go to one that I think is a little easy, and then I'll get y'all to one that's a little bit more difficult. This one here is from Bleacher Report. Shout out to Bleacher Report one time. Y'all know what it is, man. Saquon Barkley is back. Is one game enough for you to say Saquon Barkley is back? Let me see some U's in the chat if you agree with this statement on the screen. Or if you think this is an overreaction, let me see some O's in the chat one time. Or if you need that push, you think Saquon Barkley might need another couple of weeks to really get it together and show you some consistency, let me see some P's in the chat one time. Y'all take your time populating those answers, and I'll give you my perspective on it in a couple seconds here. I got to get some of these comments on the screen, man. Some of these are fire. Yo. Yo, Jeff said Barkley run pissed and all over that field. Word up, man. Thomas Burke. Shout out to Thomas Burke one time in the building. I feel like that's a new face, man. Welcome to Awthentik and the Beard channel, man. We appreciate you pulling up to the Giant Overreaction. He says, back. Definitely feel you on that one time, man. Yo, Mac, the Giants fan, that 2-point conversion sealed the deal. I feel you, because 2020 Saquon, 2021 Saquon, he's probably going to get tackled on that 2-point conversion, man. The awareness, man, and the agility to get out of dodge on that one was really good, man, and find his way in the end zone. I loved it, man. Shout out to Joseph Clark. He's taking the under on this one, too. 40 Lux, the first one I'm seeing take the push on this one, and needs to see just a little bit more. I'm not mad at you on that, to be honest, man. One game is hard to just say, hey, he's back, man, but, man, did Saquon Barkley look like he was in his rare form right there, man. Caveman Sports Talk also took the push on this one, too. My man Edward Squires said the U all day, and Jeff Maldo says under with big U's one time in the building. Lax044 says he's taking the under as well. Max Webster said easy. Yeah, that's definitely easy. I feel you on that one. Who else we got in the building? Oh, Alvaro says you can't sustain a season leaning on a running back only. That's interesting coming off this game versus the Titans, because it seems like that's what the Titans did all last season. I talked about Ryan Tannehill having pretty much the second worst season of his career, second most interceptions, second least amount of touchdowns. So, you know, he really didn't have a lights out season in absence of Derrick Henry. So I'd say they're a team that kind of does it. There's not many, though. I will agree with you on that. There's not many teams that rely on the run, and I think the Dallas Cowboys are starting to realize that, too, with Ezekiel Elliott. kind of, taking a little bit of a step back, regressing that they just can't just hammer the ball and rely on the run. Could have been there going against the Bucks, who are the number 1 rush defense in the league. Who else we got over here? Yo, some of these comments definitely hilarious. This is a good one right here, yo. My man Steven Arce says, taking the under. How can you be back when you never left? I like that, man. Yeah, because the real ones know Saquon Barkley was going to get back. It's very difficult to come back off a knee injury like that in the first year. And, the one thing about Giants fans sometimes that can be a little bit frustrating is we like to compare things to the exception. We looked at Adrian Peterson coming back off the knee injury, and when Saquon Barkley blew his knee out, we're like, oh, well, Saquon's going to come back just like Adrian Peterson. We're starting to say the same things about Evan Neal. With his struggles that he had in the preseason. We're like, oh, well, Andrew Thomas had struggles in the preseason, and he had struggles his first year too. But Evan Neal's definitely going to be a guy. We don't know, to be honest. I do have faith that he will be a guy. I mean, he showed he can do it in college, and I think it's just the transition's going to take a little bit of time. But we can't keep comparing things to the exception. It's the same thing we do with Daniel Jones and Eli Manning. We're like, oh, the mannerisms are very similar. They both, don't really show their emotion on the field. The odds are, man, that you're not going to get 2 quarterbacks that are like that, but I hope that's the case, man, and I'm hoping that Daniel Jones lights it up this year. To have 2 touchdowns to start the year is really good, man, because last year was really just pitiful for him, man. I've never seen a quarterback for the Giants throw that little amount of touchdowns, that few amount of touchdowns in 2 seasons back-to-back, and it's great to see him get 2 in the first week. But for this one right here, man, yeah, this is, to me, this is spot on. All you got to do is use your eyes. Saquon Barkley is out there moving the way that he moved in 2018. All we got to hope for now is that he just can continue that with some consistency and not get hurt, because running like that can put you in dangerous path, So, find a way to stay healthy. Saquon really ain't never had too many problems with injuries dating the NFL. But you never know, man. You take the wrong hit or anything like that. I'm going to knock on wood one time in here to make sure that Saquon don't get hurt. I definitely don't want to see him get hurt. But if he can keep running like that, man, he's going to have a incredible year. The people who let me think who was saying this. My man Mace on Twitter was talking about Saquon Barkley was going to have 10 rushing touchdowns. I think he said 15 total touchdowns. If Saquon Barkley can keep playing the way he played on Sunday, he's going to maybe even eclipse those numbers, which I was a little bit skeptical about. But shout out to Mace for having the foresight to be able to see that, knowing that Saquon Barkley is just completely back and having faith in him, man. So for me, yeah, this is definitely spot on. I'm taking the under on this one. It's not an overreaction. Bleacher Report, shout out to y'all for giving some good news about the New York Giants, man. We know they've been kind of taking a 2 on us for a couple of years here. But yeah, I like what I saw out of Barkley, man. I like what I saw out of the weapons too, man. Richie James can be a weapon. As soon as Kadarius Toney can get things right in this offense, which I think maybe they're slow playing him because maybe they know something we don't. I like that Brian Dable's kind of keeping it under wraps. I think we got some good weapons here, man. And I like what Galladay brings to the offense. I think for Galladay, it'll increase as the season goes along and you see success out of different players. We got to make it where certain teams start to scheme for players on this offense. Now we got one. We know now. We go into week 2, Carolina Panthers are going to have one major goal, and it's going to be to stop Saquon Barkley. So when they come with that game plan, we need to be able to find ways to get the ball into other playmakers' hands in space and be able to now have another guy shine week 2 so that when we go week 3, week 4, week 5, you're looking at it like these defensive coordinators got to find a new piece to scheme for, and then I think things will open up for Kenny Galladay after that. I do think he's going to have a good season. I predicted Kadarius Toney will be the stat leader. At this pace that he was on Sunday, that's not going to be the case. Somebody's going to have to step it up. Wan'Dale Robinson, we're praying that injury's nothing serious. But, yeah, I think Galladay can come back and have a really good year. And it's going to start with performances like we saw from Saquon Barkley, on Sunday. People got to step up, make these defensive coordinators scheme for you, different players, different people, so that now you keep them guessing, you keep teams off balance, and I think that's going to yield well for Giants to get victories. Shout out to my homie James Williams one time in the building, man. I appreciate seeing you here. Big supporter of the channel, man. We be chopping it up heavy on Tim from Online Big Blues channel. Also another great content creator, man. He put out a couple videos as well this morning. I checked him out as well. But let's get to this other statement here to see if it's going to be an overreaction or we're going to take the under on this one. And this is going to be the last one of the day. Yes, this is going to be the last one of the day. And I saw this one on Twitter earlier today, and I thought this was egregious. At best, Daniel Jones is a backup quarterback in the NFL. I told y'all we keeping these anonymous for people on Twitter, just so we not really calling nobody out or nothing like that. Y'all know what it is over here, man. We trying to have good morale and, show people love over here on this channel, especially if you're a Giants fan. All Giants fans welcome. All football fans welcome. Yo, whoever you are, if you want to pull up to Awthentik one time on a Giant Overreaction, do what you do. And anybody that wants to pull up on the show one time. So every other week, I'll be having a guest here on Giant Overreaction. And when we do these overreactions that we throw up on the screen, the guest will be the first person to react, and then we'll go to the chat and whatnot. So yeah, if you want to pull up on the show, man, make sure to reach out to me on my Twitter. My Twitter is just @Awthentik, the way that I spell it. Let me take this one off real quick just so I could show y'all, because a lot of people said they had trouble trying to find the channel when I was a feature on Entertainer's channel yesterday, because I do spell Awthentik kind of funky, and that's for branding purposes, and I'm a hip-hop head, man. We don't spell things the correct way. We make up our own way to spell it, and the correct way to spell authentic is like this. That's how you spell authentic. They need to change that in the dictionary and put a picture of your boy up one time. So yeah, definitely find me on Twitter. I'm on all social media platforms as @Awthentik. And if you're interested in what I do outside of football and talking football, just search Awthentik on Google. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, all that good stuff. I got another YouTube channel where I post my music videos, all that stuff. Definitely check that all out if you are interested in what I do for a career and all that. Got some high caliber accolades under my belt as far as mixing records in the game. I've done some stuff on J. Cole. I had one on the last album, The Let Go of My Hand. We tracked that at Beyond Studios, Freeway, Johnny Gill. I've worked with a bunch of cats, man, as far as studio work goes. And on the stage, man, like countless shows, man. I was on the 20th anniversary for Cuban Links with Ghostface and Raekwon. Just a ton of stuff. Joey Badass, Anderson .Paak, a bunch of stuff, man. So if you're interested in the tunes, man, the vibes are kind of like the beats I play on the show. And yeah, just hip-hop, straight hip-hop lyricism stuff. So yeah, definitely check me out. That's how we spell it one time. And let's get back to this one here. So yeah, they were talking about Daniel Jones at best being a backup quarterback. Hey man, shout out my homie ENA. We got time one time in the building. Appreciate the super chat. What up? Hope all is well. Great to see Shep out there getting that touchdown. Can't wait to work with you this year. Keep up the good work. Definitely, yo, ENA, we definitely gonna lock in. We talked about that on Twitter. If you don't hear from me, make sure you send me a nudge, bro, because I'm an extremely busy dude, and I told you, like, let's wait till the season gets started. And now that the season is started, make sure you send me a nudge like next week. Let's get that piece of content out in the world. I'm an extremely busy guy. Some people like to take that personally when I can't respond back, but it is what it is, man. Just send me a nudge. Give me a professional business nudge, man. It ain't nothing personal or nothing like that. But appreciate the super chat, man, the $4.99 super chat. And let's give our thoughts on this one here, man. What do y'all think about this? I saw a lot of people saying this is an overreaction. Yeah, Kareem E says it's an overreaction. He's a middle of the road starter. Yeah, and that's what it's looking like right now for me. I think that Daniel Jones can be a guy who could breach the top 15 in quarterbacks in the NFL. And this game didn't really change much for me. I'd say, except the multiple touchdowns. Y'all know me, man. I've been calling for Daniel Jones to give me the multiple touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. So entering next week, that's what I'm looking for out of Daniel Jones is, can you put together a better game? Put together a better game. I don't care if the completion percentage is a little bit low and you're not as efficient, but I want to see more touchdowns. That's what we lacked out of Daniel Jones. Decent in the red zone in this game, outside of that interception to Saquon Barkley. But I want to see more red zone touchdowns, and start putting that ball in the end zone. Back-to-back games. Daniel Jones had 6 straight weeks in the 2019 season where he threw for 1 touchdown or less. He had the 3 big games against the Jets, Washington Commanders now, and the Detroit Lions. Not very impressive, but he did have that 5-touchdown game against the Washington Commanders back then. And, yeah, that was a very impressive game. In each of those games, he threw the ball over 40 times. I don't know if I want to see that too much out of Daniel Jones. It definitely wasn't no garbage time stats. It was some competitive stats for sure. Daniel Jones has a problem just like sealing the deal at the end of games when he has those windows. I want to see more comeback victories. I don't think this one was listed as a comeback victory. I'm not too sure. Big plays by Saquon Barkley down there at the end. I want to see big plays out of Daniel Jones at the end of games. I want Daniel Jones to be the reason why we were winning games. But saying that he's a backup quarterback, come on now, man. That's a serious overreaction. Y'all know me last year. I was even saying that Taylor Heineke was a fringe starter. So, I think Daniel Jones has a lot better skill set than a guy like Taylor Heineke, especially with the arm strength, accuracy, down the field, things like that. But Taylor Heineke's really, really solid in the pocket when it comes to maneuvering. But I do think that right now, a guy like Taylor Heineke is not a starter in the NFL. But Daniel Jones, yeah, he should be a starter in the NFL. And this is a big prove-it year. I like seeing Brian Dable chew him out a little bit because maybe they're just building a relationship, man. Some of the best relationships are built off of, a hostile kind of encounter, and then it's like that breaks the ice, and now you guys can be more free about it and whatnot, and have a good relationship. If Daniel Jones can play some good ball, I might increase my percentage of him being franchise tagged for next year. We'll see, man, because bringing in a new quarterback could be a step back actually for the Giants if they get themselves going in the right direction this year. Now, I predicted about 6 to 8 wins this year at the beginning of the year, but if it gets to 9 or 10 playoffs and you make a run or something like that, man, I'm not going to be one saying don't franchise tag Daniel Jones. Figure out a way to make it work, even if you do draft a quarterback and franchise tag him. Do what you got to do to win games. I think Brian Dable is set on that. All the fans that were saying that the Giants looked like they were tanking, especially when the news of Blake Martinez got released, this showed you that, yeah, we not tanking, bro. We trying to win games, and I love it. And, just like Jeff said in the chat right there, man, prove the world wrong. I would love to see that. I love it when I'm a guy that roots for the underdog. So I'm rooting for Daniel Jones. I'm critical of Daniel Jones. Y'all know that. I'm going to be critical of all the players on this team. That's just what it is. And I'm very critical of the quarterback position because it's the most important one. But, yeah, I'm rooting for the kid, man. Go out there and make some plays, man. I loved what I saw on Sunday. There was some, a couple little things, but I love what I saw on Sunday out there, man. It was good to see him go out there and get a W, man, and to start the season off like that. He knows he didn't play his best football. So to know that you go back to the drawing board and you got a W, you're in the win column and you didn't play your best football, just keep improving, getting better every week. And I think we're going to see some good football out of Daniel Jones this season. I really do, man. I know a lot of Giants fans feel that way. But, these kind of statements, we gotta pump the brakes on these after a win, man. I'm one that's going to want to put out the positive vibes, especially when we had a clean slate. Going into this year, all teams are 0-0, man, and you got a good chance. So that's why I picked the Giants to win this game, because I want to bring some positivity to the world too as well, man, especially to this community. We can win the game. Why am I not going to pick us? It's the perfect time for me to pick us to win the game. So I did that, and it paid off. So now going into next week, I feel a little bit more confident. If they can capitalize off the momentum they had in the second half and bring that in the first quarter, we need some first drive touchdowns, man. Let's get a first drive touchdown. I haven't seen a first drive touchdown, I feel like, since the Raiders game, which was around week 8, I want to say, or somewhere between week 6 to 9 last season, where the fade route to Evan Ingram. And it was a beautiful throw, beautiful catch, and all that. And then the offense kind of went kaput after that. We kind of relied on the running game with Devontae Booker to end up winning that game. I thought that was one of Jason Garrett's best game plans because Daniel Jones really wasn't getting it done, and he just went to the running game and just said, screw it, we're just going to run the ball every play. But, yeah, I just want to see more great play from our quarterback, more, I asked the Beard last season around week 5 or something, is Daniel Jones playing winning football? And that's what I want to see. I want to see a quarterback playing winning football. Mistakes are cool, man. It's not a big deal to have a few mistakes here and there. It's not bad. So, fans that are out there that are ragging on Daniel Jones, I really don't think those are the vibes, man. We got to find a better way to, support our quarterback. We got to root for him at the same time. You can be critical. I'm not saying don't be critical because y'all know I'm one of the most critical people of Daniel Jones. Last year, I was comparing touchdowns to all the quarterbacks in the league that I'm like, okay, how does Jared Goff have more touchdowns than Daniel Jones? How does Taylor Heineke have more touchdowns than Daniel Jones? How does Davis Mills have more touchdowns than Daniel Jones? Because I want to show people what are the things he needs to improve on. How does Mike Glennon have more career touchdowns and less starts than Daniel Jones? Things like that don't make sense. It goes to show you that, yeah, he's not playing great football, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt that a lot of that is subject to the coaching staff, the system, the scheme, the philosophy, and all that. And I think Sunday was a good example of that. It just showed if you give this kid the right plays and you support him, especially the last drives, what Brian Dable did on the last couple drives, taking the ball out of his hands and also playing a mind game with the Titans. Brian Dable played a mind game with the Titans where it was like this. He made them think that everything we had to do on the last couple drives after the interception was go to Saquon Barkley. So when it came down to that fourth down, everybody in the whole stadium and everybody on Twitter thought, we're going to Saquon Barkley. I saw one of the beat writers tweet out, it's 4th and 1. If you do anything besides go to Saquon Barkley here, you're losing your mind or whatnot. And then what does he do? He puts the ball in Daniel Jones' hands on a keeper. I don't know if Daniel Jones called his own number. I doubt he did. We know Daniel Jones is very studious. He's the kind of guy that whatever the coach says do, he's going to go out there and do it. And, so I think that was a call from Brian Dable. And I love that. It's a sneaky way to put your quarterback in a really good position. And same thing with the little 2-point conversion. It gives him a little pass, even though it's a run kind of technically. A little shuffle pass to Saquon Barkley, finds himself in the end zone on a 2-point conversion. And then the game, what ended up being the game-winning touchdown as well, too. So, I like what I saw out of Daniel Jones. I got no complaints, man. And moving forward, just keep raising that bar, man. Just keep playing well, man. Keep playing well. And before we get up out of here one time, Let me. I want to highlight one of these super chats and then get this graphic off the screen one time. Y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik in the beard, man. We do this over here, man, about 4 times a week. Definitely pull up, tune in, man. Trying to bring y'all high quality content, man. Something that's a little bit fun, a little bit entertaining, and a little bit, you know, some information on the side too to be informative as well. Definitely tune into our recap show tomorrow, Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a really good show, man. I can't wait to dig into these numbers. And I'm one that likes to formulate my opinion by looking at a lot of other opinions out there on the internet. So today's going to be a really fun day because after this meeting that I have at 3, I'm going to spend most of my time just going through content, all the content creators, all the national media, checking out the beat writers' post. I'm going to be scouring Twitter. So if you want to continue the conversation a little bit and chop it up with me on social media, pull up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Awthentik. For those that didn't see it earlier, it's spelled like that. And also my buddy The Beard, he's on Twitter. He's always chopping it up about New York Giants stuff too. He's @TimWalkOnWater with the number 2 following that. Definitely pull up on us, man, and chop it up. I got a pretty free day here in the studio. After this meeting, I'll just be touching up some mixes, and I'm going to be seated right here, man, just working and just chilling behind the computers, watching some content, man. So, going to be a great Monday. I'm going to enjoy this Victory Monday, man. Shout out to Zanny one time in the building, man. What's up with you, fam? Hope all is well, man. I'm feeling great, bro. Everything is good, man, because of that victory. I feel great about that victory. And, oh, yeah, before I get out of here, let me make sure I go back and get that super chat, man. Definitely got to show love on that one time. Let me make sure I didn't miss one earlier than that, too. Okay, yeah, I think this is it. If I miss your super chat, man, try to bring attention to me. Sorry about that. I only got about 5 minutes before I got to be at this meeting. My man, Bluegrass Picker, man. Shout out Anthony, man. Definitely holding us down on Facebook a lot. You know, Facebook's kind of washed, man, these days as far as content goes. But he holds us down on Facebook heavy. Big supporter of the channel, man. Chiefs, he says. Giants and Barkley looks great. Your O-line looked like us, better at run blocking than pass blocking. I didn't get a chance to keep my eyes on the Chiefs game a lot, but I did see the scores, and I was keeping up to date with the scores. I kind of saw a few Patrick Mahomes highlights. Patrick Mahomes, man, he looks like he's going to be able to put that team on his back this year and get things done, man. I definitely appreciate that $5 super chat, brother, man. You always supporting the channel, man. Definitely appreciate it because, like, you know, it takes a lot of time to commit to content like this, man. Like, it really does. Like, even though it's very fun, you know, creating graphics and going through stats and coming up with all this stuff, it does take a lot of time out, man. And people like Bluegrass Picker to support the channel, like literally financially, that really helps us out, man. And we're able to do things like upgrade equipment over here and cameras and microphones and be able to try to just bring y'all the best content we possibly can. And shout out to my homie The Beard one time for reminding me. I got to do a read for our sponsor of this show for sure, man, before we get up out of here. And let me get this one off the screen so it doesn't cover that up. Definitely appreciate you, Bluegrass. You know what it is, man. Big supporter of the channel. And I think I'm going to have to go to the other brand for this one. Yeah. So today's sponsor for the show is none other than Manscaped, man. Manscaped definitely holding us down on the sponsor game, man, and holding down the Giants community. I see a lot of Giants content creators getting the sponsorship from Manscaped, and they offer a great deal. I'll just keep it very transparent, man. Like, their paid promotion opportunities are really good. So today, support for Awthentik in the Beard and the Giant Overreaction is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Bars one time by Manscaped. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off, man, and free worldwide shipping if you use the code AATB. The Beard has been putting the code in the chat. It's also in the pinned comment on this video if you're watching this on the replay. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATB at Manscaped. That's with a D.com. There's some pun there. Manscaped with a D. You like that right there? That's 20% off. And the free worldwide shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code AATB. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Definitely salute to Manscaped one time. Couldn't do these shows without these sponsors, man. They're definitely holding us down, helping us out. Blessed us with a package that's really awesome, man. Like nose trimmer. It's got some crazy products like ball bomb, ball spritz, all this stuff. So you could get the ball rolling with Manscaped one time. Blessed us with a dope T-shirt, set of boxers, a nice little carrying case and all that, man. And with the 20% off, the package is really not that expensive. So if you're interested, definitely go check them out, man. Put that code AATB. That'll definitely help the channel out a ton, man. We definitely appreciate Manscaped, and we appreciate everybody pulling up to this edition of Week 1 of the Giant Overreaction, man. So, man, just to sum it all up, fantastic victory from my boys, man. They did a good job out there, man. And again, I'll bring it back to that moment, man, where Sterling Shepard and Saquon Barkley run over to the sidelines and they hug Brian Dable, man. Just a great moment. And then Brian Dable in the locker room, man, just dancing and just, man, great times, man, in the locker room. I know this win meant a lot to the New York Giants team. And not only the team, it meant a lot to the community and it meant a lot to the fans, man. Me especially, man. Like, a week 1 win. Like I said earlier, this is the first time I got a win creating content for the Giants in week 1. And it feels really good, man. I'm going to enjoy this week. Y'all do the same, man. I got about 5 minutes before I got to get to this meeting. Salute to everybody in the Giants Nation, man. Y'all been great to me this show. We eclipsed 100 on this earlier on in the show, man. It's still got about 70 people in the building, man. A lot of respect to y'all, man. I hope y'all digging the vibe that we present to y'all here on the Giant Overreaction. Make sure to check us out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. We're going to be doing the recap of all the NFC East games and looking forward what's going to happen here in the season and our predictions on things. A lot of nuggets. I know the Beard's going to bring a bunch of nuggets, man. It's going to be a nugget party. Make sure y'all pull up. Again, that's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Thank y'all for pulling up. Let me see them biceps in the chat one time before we get up out of here, man. Y'all know what it is. I'm going to give y'all a minute. Flood me with them biceps one time before we get up out of here one time, y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik. My man, the Beard, holding us down in the chat. Giant Overreaction in a positive way today, man. It was really good. So salute to y'all, man. I got to see a lot of my OGs, my day ones in the building one time, man. Real fun chopping it up with y'all. Next week, I'm going to try to get Entertainer as the first guest on Giant Overreaction. We already talked about it. He confirmed, but it's just about if it's going to be this week or not. I'm going to chop it up with him. Man, until then, man, y'all do your thing. Enjoy this Victory Monday to the fullest, man. Make sure that you keep continuously raising that bar, man. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and the Beard. Keep living those dreams, man. Yo, I don't even know what else to say. I got chills on my arms just thinking about that week 1 victory, man. It's going to be a lot of love in the Giants community this week, man. And like I said, if you want to continue the conversation on Twitter, definitely pull up on me, man. Y'all be good. Enjoy your Monday. If you had a little bit of work to do today, man, I hope that this podcast helps your day move a little bit smoother, a little bit faster. And, just enjoy the rest of the day, man. Enjoy the rest of this week, man. It's going to be a great victory week. Don't forget to tune in, man. I'll catch y'all soon. Y'all be good, man. Peace.